Hi there, it's Grant here. I've got a very important and interesting video update for you today. I've just received an email from Teeka Tiwari. I'm on his mailing list saying Russia just launched the biggest challenge ever to the US dollar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick through this and explain how the US economy, the US dollar, and potentially global financial system and our democracies could be in big trouble, because I'll just warn you, I think we're getting close to pretty much desperate times. And if things pan out how certain people want them to do, I'm talking about the most powerful people on the planet who pretty much run the country, and hint, it's not Joe Biden or any of the people who run our countries, then how the world is run and how the whole financial system of the world will change forever. But I'm going to flick through Teeka's email, give you an update, and actually explain how the US dollar could be in trouble and how they can roll out a digital US dollar. So if you're looking forward to the video, click like, to subscribe to the new channel. And also, I'm going to give you tips of how you can potentially protect yourself should the worst happen, the US dollar go digital. So there we go. Also, just very quickly, if you want to get Teeka Tiwari's latest research on how to protect yourself on the from the digital dollar reset, there's something you can do about it. And I'm just inside his Publish Letter members area. He is actually given a massive video update, which is half an hour long, of how you can protect yourself. Basically, if the worst were to happen and the US digital dollar gets rolled out. So if you want to join the Publish Letter, if you want to listen to his updates, he's making a lot of them, and get all of his reports of how you can protect yourself on the with different assets, you can join the Publish Letter here. Just come to this page, which a link in the description and comments below, and you can join for $49, which is 75% off. Anyway, let's get back. So Teeka has just said Russia has launched the biggest challenge ever to the US dollar. So you may remember on August 22nd, they held the BRICS conference, and Teeka Tiwari, along with others, thought that the dollar would collapse after this. And actually, I think Teeka got a lot of slack because people thought, oh God, he got it wrong. It didn't quite pan out how I thought. I thought US dollar was potentially in trouble after this, but it didn't. In actual fact, the value of the dollar has gone up, for various reasons. But mark my words, the US dollar is potentially in trouble. So Teeka says he's during the BRICS summit, Russian president took aim at the US dollar. And the long and short, because I don't want to read this all for you, is the world, as you know, the US dollar is the world's global currency. Most countries trade in it, and that means the US pretty much runs the financial system in the planet and can pretty much do what it wants. The reason why the BRICS nations are being created is to get away from the US dollar so that they can no longer face sanctions. Because at the end of the day, if they create their own currency, the US can no longer place financial sanctions on those countries and freeze assets. And this is what this is all about. And the US dollar has been used as a weapon to place sanctions on the US. The most recent example of that is when Russia invaded Ukraine, and the US went after a lot of Russia's assets and the assets of some of their biggest companies. In fact, here, froze an estimated $300 billion of Russian central bank assets in Russia, and the BRICS nations no longer want that. So basically, that is why the BRICS countries have created their BRICS currency. It's not a currency you can buy a coffee with. It's going to be a trade currency. But Russia and the BRICS nations, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are rolling this currency out. And it could potentially harm the US dollar. Now, there's a couple of other things we need to talk about as well. I heard this from someone the other day who's pretty respectable. He's a very knowledgeable guy in the US. Basically, he came out and said is that the US is swimming under, or the US government is swimming under debt. The debt to GDP ratio now is 120 to 100. That means the US owes more money than it produces every year. And they can no longer print their way out of it. And anything like that. There's not really much more they can do. They can't really raise interest rates, but I think that's going to happen. The long and short of it is that, yeah, with everything that's happening in the Middle East, if there's a major conflict there, which I'll be honest, there's a chance, because, yeah, there's a chance that could happen, then, yeah, we could see, yeah, the US economy in trouble, and everything like that. Who knows what's going to happen in the Middle East? Hopefully they find, basically a solution to that, but we'll just have to keep an eye on that. And, here we go. I'll just finish Teeka's email here. It says there will also be privacy protocols where if we want to donate to a political campaign, or we want to donate to a particular cause we believe in without being punished by a government, let's say the government doesn't agree with what you propose, there'll be viable ways for us to do that. What Teeka is meaning there is that basically if a digital dollar is rolled out, a central bank digital currency, then there are other assets we can use in order to do that. And I'm going to tell you them now. The two main assets to protect yourself will be Bitcoin and gold. Bitcoin is going to be the new digital currency of the world. Bitcoin is going to be the new digital gold. A lot of big investors are rushing to put money into Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was originally created as a transfer of value that anyone can use. It doesn't discriminate. You don't need a bank to hold and trade it. You are basically, when you hold Bitcoin, you are your own bank. And that is why Bitcoin is going to be so powerful, because if you hold Bitcoin, the governments and the not so nice of the people of this world can't touch it. And obviously gold has been around for as long as forever, basically. And if you hold gold or gold coins, you will always be able to use them to make transactions. And that is why Teeka is recommending to buy Bitcoin and gold now, in order to protect yourself against the potential problems the dollar faces down the road. Now, I'm just going to finish. And so basically, I'm just going to finish here. It says, Vladimir Putin, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and the leaders of other countries taking such challenge of dollar supremacy that will weaken the dollar. And as the dollar weakens, the value of Bitcoin and gold will increase. So yes, that's another thing. Obviously, if the dollar starts, falling dramatically in value, you can bet your bottom dollar the biggest investors in the world are going to be looking for other assets. And I can tell you now, those two main assets are going to be Bitcoin and gold. Bitcoin is going to be the new gold. And the beauty of Bitcoin is that once you hold it, no one can touch it. No one can take it from you. And also, if all goes to plan, next year is going to be the crypto bull run. Bitcoin could go to over $100,000 next year, especially with BlackRock applying for their spot Bitcoin ETF, which gets approved, will allow billions of institutional money to flow into Bitcoin. So yeah, Bitcoin and gold are going to be incredibly important in the future to protect our money. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, the US dollar is never going to collapse, and that US dollar will never be in trouble. Well, let me tell you, I've done a lot of I'm just going to give you my views here. These are only my views. I'm not going to say this is going to happen, this is just my opinion on the current situation. And to really understand the big situation, you need to understand the destination. After researching and listening to a lot of different people over the past couple of months, it seems that the WF, UN and the WHO, along with some of the biggest companies on the planet, the biggest, BlackRock, Vanguard, and others, want to create a one world government where basically central bank digital currencies are going to be the currencies people use. And the whole point of a central bank digital currency is to control the populations of the world. And that is why central bank digital currencies are not good, because they offer people like you and me no privacy. Every transaction can be tracked. If a digital currency is rolled out or use them, the central banks who will control them can freeze your accounts. They can stop you buying certain things. They basically own your money. And I think the end goal is for a one world government run by the WF, the UN, and the WHO. And I think, unfortunately, good old Joe Biden is owned by these people, and they basically bought him out, and I think he's pushing the agenda to rush through this new system. And I think it's no coincidence that the war in Ukraine happened, and now the Middle East. I think Joe Biden is pushing for war with Russia by getting Iran involved in the war. And if that happens and there's a major war, I'm not saying this will happen, but I think this is what he secretly wanted, then that could collapse not just the American economy and the dollar, but the whole global system could collapse should things get nasty. Now, I don't think it'll be an all-out nuclear war. I think it could be, if it ever gets to nuclear, I mean, it could be a small exchange, but it would just be just enough to cause enough chaos to basically destroy the system we have, and then that will allow them to roll it out along with the CBDC. And I think that is the destination. Whether they manage to pull it off or not, I hope not. It is basically down to ordinary people like you and me to basically stand up and say no to the lot of it. Because if we don't, CBDCs and this crazy one world government, which is basically trying to be forced upon us, is going to be our future. So yeah, I just really wanted to say that because a lot of people don't understand the severity of it. And also add on to this that the US economy is loaded in debt. I think the debt to GDP is 120 to 100, meaning that US owes more money than it makes. So the US is teetering on the edge. And obviously, if major war escalates in the Middle East, that's really not going to help things at all. So, how can you protect yourself? Like I said, Teeka is recommending gold and Bitcoin. Basically, no, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but preparation is basically better than waiting until chaos hits us, and that is why I follow experts like Teeka, because you've got to plan for the worst. I already hold quite a strong holding in Bitcoin, and I'm seriously thinking about buying some gold coins as well to basically protect myself. But I'm not saying any of this will happen. I don't want to scare anyone. These are just my views. But I think that is what is happening and where we are potentially going, unless people just come to their senses and stop the madness. So, with all that said, if you're like, okay, that makes sense, I want to protect myself, why not join the Pi newsletter? You can join now for just $49, and that gives you 75% off the normal price, and that will lock your membership in for a year. Once you sign up, you can start devouring or listening to Teeka's latest video update on how you can protect yourself should the worst happen. the financial system go to hell in a handbasket, and lo and behold, the US digital dollar CBDC is rolled out. Obviously, the solution is Bitcoin and gold, but if you want to know more how you can get these investments, then I highly encourage you to join the Pi newsletter and listen to this video and devour all of his research and reports, because Teeka isn't messing here. There's a very real chance that the current financial system that we know could be going up in smoke, certainly within the next 6 to 12 months if things get out of hand. So if you want to join the Pi newsletter, I'll link to this page down in the description and comments below, and once you sign up, you can go straight to this, start watching all of Teeka's address and get all of the reports. Anyway, also I've got to say that obviously if you buy through my link, it does help the channel, and it helps me to bring you video updates like this that hopefully really help and inform you of what is going on and what is potentially around the corner. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you got value out of this video. Why not subscribe to get more content like this, and I'll speak to you soon.